Okay, this is lesson 2 of the Emerald Bay project. So we've got here just a quick recap of what we covered on lesson 1. So we were looking at obviously the design brief we looked at. So you have an understanding that we're going to design a point of sales display for an imaginary film called Emerald Bay. So your task in lesson 1 was to analyse an existing film poster. So you had a look at the Evan Almighty poster. So to make sure it's in detailed, you should have commented on the types of colours they've used, the imagery they've used, even the layout and the font styles to try and depict what the genre of the film is, but also who's in it, and maybe something about the story, the narrative. So you will have done this in lesson 1. So this is what we're going to do today. So in today's lesson, it's again to appreciate the work of other designers, but the idea is that you be able to analyse an existing film poster, but also to do it independently without guidance. So we're just going to again look at aesthetics and how that's used to communicate the genre of a film. So here's a couple of examples. So we've got on the side here, so you can have a quick look. You can pause the video, I suppose. If you look at the film poster on the side, Halloween, Resurrection. So from imagery, colour, layout and information, we should be able to work out what genre of film it is. So you could pause the video now and then have a think about it, and then I'll go through it. Okay, so on this video, so we've got things like the imagery. So on here, we've got the main characters on the right hand side over here that tell us that these are going to be in the film, but we've got this kind of really distorted image of a face in the background, a bit eerie, which might suggest that it's a horror film or a bit of mystery in there. If we're looking at the imagery again, we've got this character here, Jamie Lee Curtis, with some kind of blood taking place on here, so maybe something happens to Jamie Lee Curtis in the film. The font styles are quite interesting with this one. We've got a serif font here, which is old-fashioned, and we've got a sans serif font, which is modern. So we've got an old film with potentially a modern twist to it. Information as well, we've got some kind of newspaper quotations here to try and encourage you to go and watch the film. We've got this strap line, will evil, I think it says, evil will find its way home on the side, which again could suggest something about the film's genre on the side. And then we've got the colours used. We've got white that represents innocence and naivety, so maybe, or kind of something to do with spiritual, so maybe this is kind of a ghostly figure. And then the background is very, very dark, which might represent some like evil or death or mourning that could be taking place in this particular film. Here's another film. So if I pause it here and let you have a consider what genre of film this is based on imagery, colour, layout and information. Okay, so if we look at the imagery, we've got a picture of Jim Carrey here. Some of you may recognise the backdrop. So this is from the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City. So it's a painting on a fresco. So they've substituted Adam for Jim Carrey here. So we've got a bit of a spoof, particularly with the kind of positioning of the cloud as well, which might suggest it's a comedy on the side. We've got the type of fonts here, even though it's something to do with like a biblical reference in here. We've got a modern font style here, which suggests it's a modern film, even though it's 2003. Information, we've got information tells us when it's coming out as well. We've got again a strap line at the top, because this was the first film in the series, so we didn't know anything about it, so it's telling us something about what the film might be at the top over here. If we're looking at the order of things, the layout, we've got Jim Carrey's name on the top in this case, so he could be the star of the film, followed by Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston there underneath, so they're the co-stars of the film. And then we've got this Almighty in bold as well, which suggests maybe some kind of reference to the narrative of the film in there. Colour-wise, the dominant colour around the outside is white. So white representing innocence, naivety potentially, if you've seen the film. So that might give you some idea, and also that spiritual reference. So here's the last one. So have a think about the genre of the film based on those 5 bullet points on the left-hand side, and then we'll go through this. Okay, so with this film, imagery, we've got maybe something to do with we've got 3 headshots here of the main characters of the film. This is a gangster film. So if you've ever seen the Godfather series, we've got Marlon Brando on the side over here. We've got Al Pacino down at the bottom. I haven't actually seen the Godfather 3, which this is for, so I'm not sure on this character here. Colour-wise, we've got black, which represents death and mourning potentially, but also we've got this sepia colour around the outside, which is normally associated with old photographs. So this could tell us something about the history of this film, something to do with in the past on there. There's not much information on this one. We've just got the Godfather logo in the bottom right hand corner, and then this colour black again, because often there's conflict in these films where people don't particularly get on, and then when they don't get on, often they shoot each other. So we've got the colours, the imagery, and the font styles to suggest something about the genre of the film. So your task now is to independently analyse a film poster of your choice. So all you need to do is you're going to go onto the internet. So if you download this file again, so this is the second one, so you'll have one for Evan Almighty and then one for your own film poster. So you've got these, if you're unsure about what to annotate, you've got some questions here that you can answer. So for instance, depending on what film poster you select, you need to tell us what kind of imagery is on there and why do you think that imagery is on there. Is it part of the story or the narrative of the story? What kind of fonts are they used, and do they look modern? Are they traditional? Are they hand-drawn? How do they reflect the genre of the film? Excuse me. So you've got these sentence starters as well to help you. So you've got your statement to begin with. So you might say the poster is successful, and then you might say because, and then suggest why. We've got some keywords down here, and then we want your opinion in your annotations. So don't just describe what's on there. Again, if you can't remember the meanings of the colours, they're here, and the different types of font styles are on the left hand side, so you can refer to them. So this page, this is where you're going to type in the boxes, and then you're going to find a picture off the internet and paste it in this area. So if this was your file and you went to the internet, all I've done is typed in film poster into the internet. I found one over here. I'm going to right click and copy that image, and then if I go back to my file, and then I'm just going to go paste it. Ideally you want a portrait one, but I'm chosen one with lots of information on as well, and then if I just scale it down, I can then position it in that area, and then I can start to type in on these areas. So I might talk about the colours here. So in this case, we've got black. We often associate at the moment with black with death and mourning, but it also can represent space age and science fiction. So we could maybe mention something about that. We've got white around our main character as well. So he's thrust into this situation innocently. So I could mention that. And we've got the logo. So I want to try and have a structured response in each of these boxes. Okay, so your task in this, just to summarize, is to find a film poster of your choice. Maybe it's a genre that you'd like Emerald Bay to be in. You're going to copy and paste it onto this slide, and then you're going to type your analysis in the boxes. Okay.